This is going to be, I'm going to say it might be mayhem, and for so many reasons.
No, it will. It will.
You're saying it will be mayhem. Obviously, Mr. Kenney says he's happy to get the 50+1 support, which is what is required of him from the party rules. But a lot of people won't be happy with that.
No, exactly. And the party's been in turmoil for a while. Tonight's result will continue that turmoil. So if Kenney loses, gets below 50%, they'll appoint an interim leader at a caucus meeting tomorrow morning, and then we go straight into a leadership race, which will once again discuss the divisions within the party: urban, rural, progressive versus wild rose, moderate versus ideologue. If Kenney wins in the 50s, that is such a low bar that there may be members of his caucus that are going to tell him tomorrow, you still need to step down. You do not have confidence within your own party sufficiently to go. Kenney may put his back up and expel some of those people. And it could be 2, it could be 4, it could be 8, it could be 10 MLAs. It will be a raucous caucus meeting tomorrow if Kenney survives with over 50. And if he gets over 60, which he would call a landslide, people are not going to believe that number because of serious allegations of cheating during the leadership review, of rigging the vote, as well as past accusations of cheating during the 2017 leadership race where Kenney beat Brian Jean. And
that's already being looked at, isn't it?
Yeah, so the 2017, the RCMP are continuing to investigate around voting kiosks and PIN numbers and stolen identities. But we also know about the kamikaze candidate, a fake candidate that was put forward to attack Brian Jean that was supported by the Kenney camp. And Elections Alberta has already fined some of those people over $100,000. So there were actually 2 separate cheating scandals in 2017. This one, just the fact of moving from an in-person to a mail-in vote, of moving to the timing of the vote, let alone now allegations that Elections Alberta is looking at of 6 credit cards bulk purchasing over 4,000 memberships. So the whole process has been chaotic, and it's not going to end at 5:30 tonight.
Yeah, that doesn't look or sound very good. Tell me why they decided to go to the mail-in ballot.
So on one hand, they simply couldn't handle the amount of people going into Red Deer, right? When there was 2,000 or 4,000 people, Red Deer could handle that. But when it looked like it could be 16, 18, 20,000 people, logistically, they simply couldn't do it. What they could have done is set up in-person voting in Calgary, Edmonton, Red Deer, Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, Lethbridge, all the major centers in Alberta, but they chose not to. They went to a mail-in vote. And every time the rules changed, it looked like the rules were changing to benefit Premier Kenney. And that's why there's a fundamental lack of trust that many UCP members have, not just with Jason Kenney, but with the party executive as a whole.
So, Duane, who are his biggest detractors?
Well, Brian Jean obviously is at the top of the list, right? So Brian Jean lost that 2017 leadership race under, as I said, murky circumstances. Then Jean, for about 1.5 years, was periodically poking Kenney, criticizing his COVID response, his leadership style, and then ran in an open seat in Fort McMurray, his home riding. And he won, despite the fact that Kenney was supporting a competitor within the UCP. And so Brian Jean is at the top of that list, but I would also put Danielle Smith. Danielle Smith was the Wild Rose leader before Brian Jean, and she is now running for a UCP nomination in a riding in southern Alberta, also publicly criticizing Jason Kenney. But there's others that may be in cabinet that are also not very happy with Kenney, but they are hedging their bets based on what happens tonight.
I know that the pandemic and COVID-19 restrictions were very controversial, as they were for Canadians across the country, right? A lot of people split on what should be done. Besides restrictions, what else is dividing this party?
Well, it goes right back to the fact it's a new party and it was created in opposition to the NDP. There was a reason that these were two separate parties for over 20 years. And so what united them was opposition to the NDP and to Rachel Notley. Then they win the election in 2019, and those divisions started to reappear before COVID, and COVID just exacerbated them. But the others are a very combative leadership style. He's got issues managers and press secretaries that fight on a regular basis with all sorts of people. They fight with media, they fight with MLAs, sometimes their own party members. They fight with private citizens. There's a sense that this was supposed to be a grassroots party. Jason Kenney signed a grassroots guarantee on one of them big placards and then has simply ignored that, and it's been top-down leadership. You talk to caucus members, and they may have had only one or two one-on-one conversations with Jason Kenney since they formed government 3 years ago. So a lot of it is leadership style, that the constant attacking that goes well beyond COVID.
Okay, I know we're going to connect again later because I want you to answer a question later about whether or not you think Kenney picked up a lot of leadership style tips from his old boss, Stephen Harper, because what you're describing seems to be that, but we don't have time to get into it now.
Harper was much better at doing that.
Interesting.
Than Jason Kenney was.
We'll talk.
Right? Harper was able to balance the combative nature with the collaborative nature. Jason Kenney has only one tool in his toolbox, and it's a hammer, and everybody else is a nail.
Interesting. All right, we'll talk some more about that a little bit later. Duane, thanks for coming by.